Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Levittown Public Library's Egoscue class with Kimberly Sabat on Monday, July 12th, 2021. Okay, Kimberly, take it away.
Here we go, everybody. Welcome back from that little break. Today, we're going to be doing some posture stuff. Some of you are new, so I'm just going to quickly bring you up to speed. Posture is not good. Posture is not bad. It's just about how our body adapts to the environment we give it. And the environment will adapt our body depending on how we move or how we won't move or don't move. So your body is going to adapt to that. Today, some of the cool things that we're going to be using around your house is one, a belt. So you're going to grab yourselves a belt off of your pants, or usually a dude's belt, maybe your husband's belt. You don't want to use those fashion belts because we are going to be putting these things around our legs and it's going to be weight bearing. You also don't want to use a PT strap. Rubber is not going to work with us because we want to have a whole lot of resistance. So use a real belt or a rope. Go outside to your boat and pull some lines off of it. And you want to have a lot of resistance. The other thing we're going to be using, I have a block. You might have a yoga block. If you don't have that, you're going to grab a pillow. Get a pillow off of your bed. There's a lot of resistance on my block. See, I can't really compress this thing. I can't squish it all the way. So if you're grabbing a pillow off of your bed or your couch, you're going to have to fold it in half so that there's an awful lot of resistance. Last thing we're going to be using today is a chair. I have my Egoscue block here. So again, another big piece of foam. I just have it about as high as my hip, maybe an ottoman. A bed usually doesn't work because it's a little bit too high. We're going to be doing moves on the floor, standing, hands and knees. I'll modify as best I can for you guys, for those of you that can't get on the floor. But we are going to do a bit of a workout later today. So if that's not your thing, I want you guys to go and revisit some of the moves that I show you today. So if you feel like you don't want to get your heart rate up today, then you can revisit any of the moves that I show you today. So we're going to start off nice and easy, and then we're going to hit it a little bit harder later for those of you that want to do some little bit more strength building, which is important. We're going to start out in static back today, everybody's favorite. We're going to lay down on our back. Best place to do this is on the floor, and you're going to put your legs up on top of your chair or ottoman. Sometimes people even stack up pillows. I've had some clients who actually are bedridden and they put pillows up on their bed. You want to achieve 90 degrees at your legs, at your knees, and at your hips. You want to trap the body in 90 degrees. There's a reason for this. You're going to stay here for 5 minutes. Here's a caveat. If some of you have rounded shoulders, so your back is in this C-curve position, it's going to make it so that your head is pointed behind you, and it's going to be very uncomfortable, especially for your neck. We want those muscles to relax. So if that's you, what I want you to do is take a pillow and put it underneath your head. That's going to allow your neck muscles to relax. And as your pelvic position changes, the muscles and really all the tissues throughout your spine are going to change, and things are going to articulate. It's going to allow your shoulder and your head position to adjust as well. That's what we're going for. So I don't have that going on, so I'm going to go flat on the back. Where I'd like your arms to be, and I want you newbies to check this out, bring your arms completely at your sides so that they're touching your sides, and notice the position of your shoulders. Now I want you to bring your arms out to a T and notice the position of your shoulders. So the reason why I want your arms to be maybe 45 degrees or a T is because it's going to facilitate the shoulders to relax back and down into the floor. So I hope that you notice when your arms were at your sides, touching your sides, your shoulders were actually articulating forward. So we want to facilitate the shoulders relaxing back into the floor. We're using gravity to do this. This move is called static back. And even though this move feels like there's nothing going on, this is not a passive move. In fact, I've had people cramp up on me in these moves as muscles remembered how to work in this, let's say in this coordinated fashion, in this pattern. So as easy as this one feels, and much of it, it might be your favorite. This is one of my favorite moves because it's very easy to do. Very easy to do. Some of you can't lay down on your back, but if you actually rotate me 90 degrees, what I'm really doing is sitting 90 degrees in a chair. So I do have some people that can't lay down on their back or won't lay down on their back. You can absolutely do this sitting in a chair, walk your tailbone all the way to the back of the chair, maybe like a kitchen chair. You want something to trap you. That's really important. And then sit up as straight as you can. Static back is an excellent move. Let's stay here for about 2 more minutes, everyone. And you might notice as we've been here for about 3 minutes so far that things might start to settle on you. You might feel like one side of your lower back is lifted, the other side is flat, or one shoulder is doing something different than the other. I want you to notice that throughout this class. Notice what's different, what's changing. That's what we're going after. It usually doesn't take more than 1 to 3 moves for the body to start making changes. It happens very fast. Can I get you from 0 to 100 in one day? Maybe not. But I've had clients where we went from, wow, my pain is a 7 to maybe it's a 2, a 3, or now I have no pain. Now I'm walking with no pain, or now I'm able to do more than I did in just a few moves. And that's how we create a therapy menu for people. We're letting the body tell you what it needs. And we have to learn to listen to it. 1 more minute. So this routine that I'm giving you today is not a workout per se. We are going to be doing some strength building stuff. But my focus is to help your body realign itself by stimulating it with different exercises that you don't normally do throughout the day, the week, and maybe for some of you for years. We're going to do a functional test here, everybody. Keep your legs in the static back position. I want you to reach your arms up towards the sky. We're going to do a couple of pullovers just to see where we're at. You're going to keep your elbows nice and straight. My hands are interlaced and my palms are touching, but my elbows are straight. Super important. So what we're doing is we're testing that range through your shoulders and actually into your back. So I want you to drop your hands backwards overhead, keep your elbows straight, and see how far down you can get towards the floor. Again, it's just a functional test, so we're not going to turn this into an exercise just yet. But I just want you to see, what do my arms do when my legs are in this position? Notice what you feel. Now, you're going to kick your chair away. I'm going to take you guys into the frog position, and we're going to do frog pullovers. We're going to do frog pullovers. So I'm taking the soles of my feet together, and my knees are falling out to the side. For those of you that are new, never mind that stupid roll that I just put underneath my back. I do that because I know that my posture tends to go flat lower back for me. So I put a roll under to help keep that arch in my back. So you're going to put your feet together, let your knees drop out to the side. I'm still laying on the floor. Can't do this on the floor. You can absolutely get it done in a chair. Don't give up on me. If you're not on the floor, you can get this done in a chair. Now I want you to try the pullovers again. You're going to straighten your elbows out. Interlace your fingers, palms touch, drop the arms backwards overhead and bring them back over your chest. You're going to give me 1 set. No, in fact, 3 sets of 10. So a total of 30. Do not bend your elbows. So what we're going after here is to remind all of the muscles around your shoulders, down your back, and into your hips how to coordinate themselves. Granted, you probably noticed, wow, my arms are doing something different in this leg position than it was in the static back position. There's a reason for that. The whole body's connected, everybody. You change one thing, the rest of the body now has to readapt to that change that you made. That's why when I notice someone's got shoulder pain or knee pain or foot pain, I'm usually going to a completely different part of the body to address that pain. Keep your elbows straight, everybody. I got this one lady, man, I just want to give her a nice fat lip. She keeps bending her elbows on me. Knock it off. I've been seeing her for 5 years. Check your elbows. I really want to bend my elbows to hit the floor, especially after that surgery I had, and I can't hit the floor anymore with my left arm. So I'm working on it. I'm still rehabbing, but I am not bending my elbow to get there. I've got to reteach my shoulder how to go through this range of motion. It's very important. Wonderful. We're going to bring the legs to a hook lying position. So we're going to put the feet flat on the floor and your knees point up to the sky. Newbies, this is what I want you to do. We have to keep the feet hip distance. So this is what I do to do that. You put the ankles and the knees together and then watch. I'm just going to walk my feet out, heel, toe. And that's about hip distance. It's about the length of a dollar bill. I'm going to do that again. Heel, toe. Keep your feet pointed straight ahead best you can. Okay. Now you're going to take your arms to what's called a goalpost, because it looks like a goalpost, right? It looks like goalpost. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see that. Looks like a goalpost. And what I want you to do is squeeze your shoulder blades together on your back. You're going to do a little squeeze and then let go. A little squeeze and let go. You're going to use your elbow as a bit of an assist to do this, but I really don't want you to push into the floor too hard with your elbow. It's a light squeeze. See how my shoulder blades are retracting? It's a cute little squeeze. Do less to do more, because the harder you squeeze, the more you're going to compensate by lifting your back up off the floor. That's a no-no. I don't want you to do that, so don't try that hard. What we're trying to do is get the sensation of this movement right in between your shoulder blades. We want the rhomboids and the mid traps to do that work. If you feel like a lot of this is up in your neck and you're feeling neck tension, I want you to bring your elbows closer to your body and keep squeezing. So I'm squeezing my shoulders into the floor. I'm going to do another 3 sets of 10. It's going to take us probably about 2 minutes, minute and a half. Squeeze and release. In fact, I'm still feeling this in my neck up here just a little bit. So I'm going to bring my arms back to that first position with my palms up and my arms at 45 degrees. And I'm going to keep squeezing here. And now I'm starting to feel it in my shoulder blades, right in between my shoulder blades. So if you're like me and you are starting to feel that in your neck, that's called compensation. We don't want those muscles doing it. We don't want the upper traps kicking on. We want the mid traps and the rhomboids to kick on. So we're just going to help you by moving the arms in a different position. Everybody's doing great. I get to see everybody. You angled your cameras so well. I can see it all. And these are really simple moves, but they can be so challenging. How many of you feel like the harder you try, the more you're lifting your sternum up towards the sky? That's called compensation. I don't want you using all of the muscles down your spine. I want you to engage just the shoulder blades. So you have to dial back the effort. For a lot of us hardcore people, that's tough for us to do. Our challenge lies in, hey, take it easy. Darn type A personalities, right? We need the right muscles to do the job. This is not about effort. How many of you feel like you're getting tired? That's been happening to me lately as I rehab my shoulder. This tiny little squeeze is getting me more and more tired. I'm going to go to a functional test. Remember the move we did before this? Take your feet back together. Let your knees flop out to the sides. Going to go right back to that move. And we're going to see what changed. What's different? Drop your arms backwards overhead. Bring them back over your chest. What's different? It might feel less tight. Hey, it might be worse. It might be worse. And if you got something that's worse, then great. You know, okay, that's not the move to do to gain more range of motion in my shoulder. But for most of you, you probably got better. You probably got better. And the reason is because we turned on muscles that were sleeping, for lack of a better term. I'm going to take you guys to hands and knees. We're going to do a couple of cats and dogs so we can tie this stuff together. Where did I put my hair thing? Okay, right here. Cats and dogs, we're going to hands and knees. Real old, easy one. Old, easy one. If you can't do cats and dogs on hands and knees, you can do it sitting in a chair. It's the same idea. You're just going to arch your back and look up and round your back and look down. It can absolutely be done sitting in a chair. Cats and dogs, cats and dogs. Very nice, everybody. I'm going to have you come to your chair and you're going to bring your pillow and your strap with you. I'm going to do some sitting exercises. Do not sit in a couch. Not like any of you are going to, but I don't want you sitting in a couch. You want to be in a nice, flat, stable surface because we want to trap the body in a certain way. For people that have never done any sitting exercises, Egoscue style before, I have to show you what sitting in extension is. Sitting in extension is all about the position of the pelvis. It's not about the rest of the spine. That's going to come along for the ride, but I really want you to focus on the pelvis. So I'm going to slouch to start out with. When I slouch, the pelvis is actually in what's called a posterior tilt. We're going to tip the pelvis forward into an anterior tilt, but I want you to do it from your hips. Watch. I'll do that one more time. So I'm tipping my pelvis forward into an anterior tilt. Some of you who've never done that before on purpose are going to cheat by doing this. I don't want you to use your back muscles to lift up. I really want you to feel that pulling from your pelvis and the groin. That's a tough part. So we're going to put a little arch into your lower back by tipping your pelvis forward. You're going to take your pillow, put it right between your knees. Make sure your feet are underneath your knees. Want that nice, pretty 90-degree angle that we had in our first move when we laid down. And think like Thigh Master. You squeeze the pillow and release. Well, my shoulders are actually relaxed here, but I hope that those of you who are new to sitting knee pillow squeezes realize that when you put your pelvis into that anterior tilt, when you sat in extension, your shoulders and your chest automatically sat upright. So a lot of this whole slouching thing that everybody's got, and then they have these funny devices. I wrote blogs about it to hold your shoulders back. It's coming from the hips. So if you don't get the hips to drive what's going on through the rest of the spine and the shoulders, your head position is not going to change. You're going to keep yanking things back by kind of addressing the wrong thing. And it's not going to be as, I am just avoiding using the word sustainable because I hate that word. So you're not going to find that longevity. You're going to keep having to attack it over and over and over into the shoulders, into the shoulders. That's not where the problem is really coming from. Pelvis, hips. Again, I'm just squeezing and releasing on my pillow while I'm sitting in extension. This used to be a tough move. So if you find, oh man, it's getting tired and I'm starting to lift my chest, just take a break. You want to sit in extension from your pelvis. I'm going to stay here for maybe a half a minute more. Squeeze and release. Where you should be feeling this type of work is actually in the inner thighs and in the groin area. But you might be one of those people who are in so much compensation that you're feeling it in different parts of your body. Just check yourself out, see where you're at. You might be feeling it in your thighs. You might be feeling it maybe in your hamstrings, maybe in your calves. It's not a bad thing. And you are on your path towards better posture, but your body's holding that certain posture and using those quote unquote wrong muscles for a reason. It forgot how to recruit muscles in the way that it was designed. So again, we're trying to stimulate the body so that it can auto-correct. So don't shame your body because you're not using what Kim said is the right muscles. It's no big deal. Good. I'm going to take that pillow out. I'm going to have you take your strap. I'm going to put the strap around the legs. So I put a nice loop in my strap and I'm putting my strap on like it was a pair of pants or a dress. I'm going to tighten up my strap so much that my knees are hip distance. It's a little bigger than a fist width. Again, it's like that length of a dollar bill between the very center points of my knees. And my ankles are in that same line again. You want to sit at that beautiful 90-degree spot. I used to put my knees way, way, way too narrow, even when I was doing the Egoscue move. So you want to stay in line with your hips. That distance is not going to change. I start out with my slouch because I want to recruit those groin muscles to sit in extension. Pull from the front of your hips. There it is. Push out on the strap now and release. I'm just going over and over again, everybody. I'm pushing out on the strap and release. Push, release, push, release, push, release, over and over. I gave you the move before this with the block because I wanted both sides to work as evenly as they could before I gave you this move. Tendency is for one leg to kind of take over when we've got a strap on there. So I want you to think about balance, not effort. I love this move so much. I actually do give it an awful lot of effort because I love how this works in my body. My femurs, my upper thigh bones have a tendency to now turn in. So I'm actually loving this move, how it helps the femurs come out because it helps me rotate from this area of my hip. Also, that other move that we did before this is going to help strengthen the hip flexor, which also aids in pulling the femur into a more neutral position. Just food for thought, everybody. The test will be later. Let's stay here for another minute. Now that we've been here for a little while, I hope you notice that you're feeling a difference between this move and the other move that we just did. You should be feeling it on the whole opposite ends of the spectrum. Where you felt it in the inside and the inner thighs and in the groin, now you should be feeling it more outer thighs, outer legs, hopefully right here in the gluteus medius in this area. Hopefully that's where you're feeling it. And I hope you're still sitting in extension, everybody. You don't want to slouch in this move. I still want to turn on the hip flexors to sit upright. That whole sitting upright thing should be coming from a hip-driven place, not shoulders and chest driven. They do enough. Okay. Everybody, I hope you don't hate me. We're going to go back to the block, and I'm going to show you a couple of sit to stands. These are not easy, but do them anyway. I got one lady, she's in a wheelchair, and nowadays her sit to stands are looking kind of blah, but she keeps doing them even though she doesn't get out of that chair. I'm going to put the block right between the legs again. I want you to try your best to keep your feet in that beautiful 90-degree area and keep your feet pointed straight ahead. Your tendency is going to be to do this before you get up. Don't do it. Don't do it. Keep your feet parallel, right where you put them. And interlace the hands and put them behind your head. Draw your elbows back strongly. If you got a shoulder injury like me and it's killing you to do that, put your hands on your shoulders. Draw your elbows back strongly. There's a reason for that. I want you guys to stand up and sit down 10 times without throwing your weight too far into it. Just stand up. Remember, feet stay exactly where they were. Don't throw your weight into it. Think of it more like a lift. Elbows back, nice and strong. Don't worry, if you think this is hard, the next one might be easier. And if you think this is easy, the next one might be harder. Keep your elbows back strong, everybody. Notice I'm not turning to reach and hold my seat and use my arm to sit my butt down. We're retraining your hips to get you up and down. Those first moves that I gave you hopefully got a good amount of rotation out of your body so that you can work more symmetrically and get this done. We are going to switch the block out for the strap. So if you thought that move was kind of easy, or if you like that move and you want to do 50 more, go for it. I got a lot more to give you today. So we're just going to do them in sets of 10 for now. Put the strap around your legs. Gonna hang on to that strap. Keep pressing out on there. I think you guys will be okay. But my other client, when she does this, this is what happens with the strap. And it ends up going down. So don't be one of those. If that strap is there, it better stay there. So use your muscles to hold it there. Same idea. Interlace hands behind head, draw your elbows back nice and strong. Feet are flat on the floor, 90 degrees, parallel. Lift. Oh, a little different, right? How many of you are starting to get a foot cramp now just after the first few? Good. Love those cramps, especially when we do work like this. It shows you what muscles forgot how to work. Elbows back strong. My left arm is still a little behind, pulling it back as far as I can. Again, if you got a shoulder issue, shoulder pain, which I forgot to even mention earlier today, if you feel pain during any of these exercises, please stop. Please stop. That move might not be for you just yet. 100 more. Come on, everybody. To sit to stand. How easy? But it might not be so easy because you got the strap around your legs. So I'm asking muscles to work in a different way. Take a break. Okay. I'm going to put my fan on me. I'm going to show you guys some stuff that we're going to do against the wall. We are going to do a standing wall twist. We did this one a couple of weeks ago. If you don't have a clean space on your wall, use a door. I'm going to show you what it looks like as if you were staring through the wall at me. I'm going to place my hands wider than my shoulders. There's a reason for that. So what we're going after in this move is to load vertically, but also to get both of the shoulder blades to remember where they belong in this position. So I want you to stand maybe a forearm's distance away from the wall, about 8 inches, not too much further, about 8 inches. Definitely not a foot. I think that's a little bit too far. A little shorter than a forearm's distance. Okay, whichever leg is towards the center of your room, I want you to put that foot in front of you and touch heel to toe. And now the simple part of this is to balance your weight. I want you to distribute it evenly between your front and your back foot, and then tighten both of your thighs. So we're really locking the legs in place. Now just turn your chest towards the wall and place your hands on the wall. You're going to feel one of your shoulder blades doing an awful lot of work. And we're going to hang out here. If it's too much and you can't get this done, you could step a little further away from the wall, sure. But keep that distribution really even across your front and your back foot. You want to keep the weight distributed evenly. Thighs are tight. Do not let your knees bend. This is standing wall twist. I have that tendency to lean really heavy into the back leg. So I'm working to fix that while I'm in this move. We're just going to stand here for 1 minute, everybody. If you're too far away from the wall, you're not going to be stacked and you're not going to feel the work in your shoulder. So you want to be close enough to the wall where you're almost in like this midway push-up. Wonderful. We're going to switch to the other side, which is easy for me because I can just pivot like a Michael Jackson turn. But if you lost it, go ahead and turn around. The foot that's towards the center line of the room, you're going to put that one in front, touch your heel to toe, and then twist your body towards the wall. Remember, distribute your weight evenly. Tighten both of your thighs. As you twist towards the wall, you might have to readjust again. You might start leaning a little too heavily into one of your legs. Try to make it even. You'll notice that the routines that I give you are all about trapping the body. And the more that I can trap your body, the more we can actually force certain muscles and tissues to start doing some work and to wake up. I'm sure you guys feel that there's more than just your shoulders turning on here. How many of you feel some work in your butt, in your hip? It's a lot happening here. Lovely, everybody, come on out. I'm going to take you into what's called the windmill. If you don't have a nice clean wall, you're going to do this in the middle of your room, kind of like I am. If you have a nice wall that you can back up onto, I want you to bring your heels to the wall. And we're going to go through a nice range of motion. But I want you to think about having the imaginary wall touching your back if you're not using an actual wall like me. So I'm putting my feet hip distance. My feet are parallel, straight ahead. Bring your arms out to a T. If that's too hard, bring your arms out lower. Palms are facing the center of the room. I'm only going to move from my waist. From my butt down to my feet is locked in place. I dip over to my left and then over to my right. Heels stay on the floor. This is called windmill. So I'm moving in what's called that frontal plane. Frontal plane. Again, if you got a nice flat wall, that's going to help you a lot. You put your heels on the wall, you put your thumb and your pinky on the wall, and you use the flat wall to remind your body how to be balanced left and right. So it's not going to allow you to actually rotate. I could totally rotate out of this and I wouldn't know. But when I got a wall behind me, that stops me from rotating. That's the point of this move. Sometimes when I'm out and I see a nice flat wall waiting online for food or something, I'll do windmill against the wall. Spread your feet open about 2 feet wide. Feet are still parallel. That's a big key here. Feet are parallel. They have to stay parallel. Arms out to a T. I'm sure your shoulders are burning. If not, they will over the next 20. I don't catch anybody doing it right now because you guys, you're athletic. You're not moving through your shoulders. That's a good thing. I didn't ask you to do that. Simon didn't say. But a lot of people, they hit this point because their hip doesn't want to go and they're tight. So they finish it with their arms. That's a no-no. How many of you feel like, oh, one side's tighter than the other? Yeah, one side's working differently. It's recruiting different muscles. And so this tension starts to build up. Spread your legs open real wide, everybody, real wide. But stay in control. I'm about 3 feet wide. Maybe more. I don't know what range of motion you guys got. Can't do this standing. Yes, you can do this in a chair. Go ahead and sit in a chair and go back and forth. Sure. I love watching some of you guys. I can see moving to the left is tough for some of you. Moving to the right is tough for others. As we come back to our starting position, you're going to notice, ooh, it's different. The wider we go with the legs, the more we're teaching the muscles and really everything how to work with the design that you have. We're coming back to our first position, ladies and gentlemen. This is our standing windmill, and check it out. Hopefully you got a good change. Lovely, everybody. I'm going to take you into forearm stretch. This is another move that's against the wall. I'm going to show you what it looks like if you were looking through the wall at me. Again, I'm standing with my feet hip distance. I'm going to put my palms on the wall with my fingertips pointing down. Some of you might have wrist issues, so you can't actually come to 90 degrees. If that's you, just move your hands lower on the wall. And what I'm going to do is, with my hands in this position, I'm going to lean into the wall and let my shoulders articulate back and down. I'm not going to lean into the wall using my hips. I'm not going to lean into the wall using my head. I'm just using the wall to trap my wrists and elbows and get my shoulders to come back and down. I'm going to stay there for 1 minute. So find a wall, find a door, whatever it is for you. Set my little timer here. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Palms on the wall. So again, it's just another way of trapping. I'm still standing on my own. I'm not leaning into the wall like a push-up. No, I'm standing on my own. I'm about 4 arms distance away from the wall, clearly. I want your shoulders to stay back and your shoulders to stay down. Try not to keep leaning your belly button towards the wall. This is not a movement for articulating your back. This is just an articulation through your shoulder blades. So leave everything else be. Great. I'm going to come back down to the floor, everybody. I am sweating like a beast because the beasts sweat, right? Come back down to the floor. I'm gonna give you some really easy femur rotations, one of my favorite moves. And we're gonna do one leg at a time because it's really, really good. If you're going out for a run, you're a runner. I know a couple of you are runners with me today. Femur rotations, definite. You have to do these. You have to. Okay, so I'm laying down on my back. I'm going to extend my left leg straight, and I'm going to leave my right leg in the nice hook lying position that I showed you earlier. Look at the alignment I have going on here. My foot is in line with my hip. My other foot is in line with my hip. I'm not going wider than my hip. I'm not going narrower than my hip. You want to stay in that same hip distance. Very important. As we go through this range of motion, we're trying to recruit the muscles rotating in, out, get them to work. I'm resting on my back. You can definitely get this done sitting in a chair. You can put a leg out in front of you, sure. I'm gonna keep the thigh nice and tight. My ankle is dorsiflex, so I'm pulling my toes towards me. And I'm rotating only from my hip, whole leg, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Do not bend your knee. Do not move through your ankle or your foot. I catch so many people who are new to this. They're doing this thing with their foot, and they're doing that and that and that. They're not moving their hip. I want you to lock everything from your hip down and move only from your hips. The whole leg goes in and out. That's why it's called a femur rotation. Really important move here, everyone. I've unlocked so many hips. Yes, it was all me. Using this move. Oftentimes when the big posture muscles don't do their work, the little posture muscles wake up and have to compensate for that. And so then they get tight because it's not their job to pull the hip into extension and into flexion. It's their job for rotation and support. Switch. And so they get sick and tired of it, and they start tightening up and they start complaining. And that's where pain and tightness starts. And then it could lead to worse things. Anybody see that video when I used to do my presentations over at Synergy, and I would show that beautiful athlete. Oh my goodness, it's a crazy video. He breaks his leg just landing after a pole vault, and you could see, if you were an Egoscue therapist, you could see why he broke his leg. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't an accident. It's because his bones could not bear what his muscles weren't doing. His muscles were very shut down. Some of you saw that video. Switch. He was in the Olympics. So it's so interesting. No coaches pick up on this stuff. It's for some coaches, it really is very specialized, and it's all about getting the work done. And you can be an incredible athlete and still be in so much musculoskeletal compensation that it kind of screws you in the end. And this guy was an incredible athlete. I hope you're noticing that now that we've gone back to this exercise again, after our second switch, that things are changing. Do not bend your knee. Do not move through your ankle. Keep your foot still. We're going to switch again, ladies and gentlemen. These are called femur rotations. As simple and stupid as this might seem, this is huge. Anybody feel this working into their lower back? Does anybody feel this going up their spine? Excellent. In and out. My leg is really sticky, so I'm actually lifting it off the floor just a little bit so I can actually move it. You guys don't have to. This is not about lifting up the leg. You really want to keep it on the ground and just rotate it, but the mat is so sticky. It's like pulling my skin. One more time, we're going to switch. I'm going to go back to my left leg. So we've got one more round for each leg here. Make sure your leg is still in line with your hip, ladies and gentlemen, so that when we finally do stand up again and we start strengthening in this regard, the right muscles are going to kick on. If we're a little bit too far away from our midline, it's going to turn on different muscles. So I really want to remind your body how to do this in this stacked vertical position. Ankle, knee, hip, shoulder. How am I going to beat you up today? Everybody switch. Less time. Thinking about what exercise routine in my dark little book I'm going to give you. I was looking at it earlier and I saw some really old routines, but good ones. Old, good routines. Old, good routines. And there's plenty of free routines on YouTube. If you look up a Goskew workout, oh man, will you find the good routines. You got routines with some actually really, really good looking athletes, people from the San Francisco 49ers, a couple of tennis players, runners, bikers, athletes you will recognize, and average people as well. Good, I'm gonna come back to center. Bring you guys to hook lying position. I want you to do 10 pelvic tilts. So we're just gonna rock the pelvis back and forth. Remember what we did when we were sitting on the chair? And I was showing you, this is a posterior tilt, this is an anterior tilt. I want you to do the same thing. It's like a cats and dogs, but you're only using the pelvis. This is not a bridge, so don't lift up off of the floor. I really want you to drive from the hips. Drive from your hips. You'll feel your back coming off the floor, and you'll feel your back going into the floor. Wonderful. Before we get up, we're going to give a couple of glute squeezes. In fact, 60 of them. You're going to squeeze your butt cheeks together and then let it go. Squeeze and let it go. Squeeze and let it go. Oh, I'm catching some of you guys. You're using your belly. Jam your fingers in your belly and check it out. Am I using my belly to squeeze my glutes? If those muscles are turning on, you are in incredible compensation. I just want you to squeeze your butt cheeks together. If that is really hard to do, and you have your hands on your butt and you notice, wow, I'm really not squeezing that much, extend your legs straight out on the floor and then squeeze. So you're in so much compensation that your abdominals are working in place of what your butt should be doing. And we have to give you a Band-Aid by extending your legs straight out to try and get your butt muscles to kick on. Eventually, you'll be able to do it with your knees bent. But right now, if that's not happening for you, my suggestion is leave your legs straight out, because we have to be able to recruit the right muscles to do their work. That's a big muscle in your body. Its job is to pull your leg into extension. So runners, if your knees are bent and you're laying on your back and you can't squeeze your glutes and your abs are firing, your running is compromised. Your running is compromised. I'm a little more than halfway through. I'm going to go for 25 more squeezes. In fact, I'm going back to my bent knees because I can do that. Ha ha. Now, sometimes I can't do that. In fact, when my shoulder was injured, I was losing my glute squeeze. Interesting, huh? I was losing my glute squeeze and I had to get it back. Keep on going, everybody. Give me 10 more while I check my black book, my bad book. I had it here. What did I want to give? Oh, there it is. All right, I'm going to put my hair up. All right, everybody, stay on the floor. Stay on the floor. Stay on the floor. You're going to hate me. I'm going to hate me, but I'm already sweaty, so might as well. I am going to give you guys a little bit of a superset. We are going to do V-ups, knees in and out, legs open, close. I told you before, we want to kind of get more hip driven. You want to drive from your hips. These three moves stink. And we're going to do it in a superset. We're going to do it in a superset. V-up looks like this. It's not easy. It's not. You're going to lay on your back and you're going to make the shape of a V. Try to touch your hands to your feet in the middle of your body somewhere, and then back down. We're going to do them in sets of 10. Everybody ready? If you don't want to do it, just watch me do it. It works just the same. You can watch me do a whole workout and your body will look spectacular. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, keep your knees straight. 5, do the best you can. If that's not working for you, you can do one leg at a time. Maybe you have to do this. Maybe you have to sit in a chair and do that. 2, 1. Into a sitting position. Get balanced on your butt. We're going to do knees in, out. You can do this on a chair. So if you're not on the floor with me, you can get in that chair. You can bend your knees and bring your knees into your chest. But here's the kicker. Do not let your knees go out. No outward rotation from your hip. Knees straight in. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Think really pretty. Ankles, knees, hips. 3, 2, 1. We're not done, and we are supersetting this. Keep your feet parallel. We're going to open the legs and close them, just like we did in the windmill when we were standing. Here we go. 10, parallel feet. 9, knees straight. 8, this is not easy. 7, you can definitely get it done in a chair. 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Break, because we're going to do it again. Twice more. That's where the superset is. And we've got time. So we're going to do it. Remember, if you're sitting in a chair, you can definitely get this done the same way. Just lift your legs up, put them back down. I don't care if you can do 10, do 1. Do 1, do something. I'm going back into the V-ups because it feels so good. Here I go. 10, 9, 8, 7, a lot of hip today. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Balance on your butt, knees in and out. 10, 9, 8. Remember that alignment. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs open and close. Feet stay parallel. Remember, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Break. Guys, what if I did the last set for you? What if you just watched me? She's like, yeah, yeah. You guys should just watch me do the last set. It'll totally count for you. Totally count. That's what a superset is, everybody. Okay, so last round. You guys enjoy your break because it's just going to be me. Welcome to hips. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay! You guys are so welcome. Knees in and out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Does everybody feel that right in the groin? Good. Last round is legs open, close. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Feet parallel. 2, 1. Frog position. Lay for 1 minute. You'll love it. 1 minute, everybody. Keep breathing. Get your fan on you. That part's important. I do have one client, so if you still had a hard time doing the glute squeezes, even when your legs were straight out, I have one client. This is the Band-Aid for him. So this actually takes the hip into such a position that the glute is in such a shortened position that you can recruit it very easily. So if you try to do a glute squeeze here, you'll probably find, wow, it's the strongest ever. So if you still have a hard time recruiting your glutes, this might be the position you have to get into and then work your way towards laying down with your knees bent. Fantastic, everybody. I want you to do some bridges. I'm going to take the block if you need, and I use the block because my knees have a tendency to go in or go out. So I put the pillow or block between my knees to keep my legs even. I'm going to push up 25 times. These are bridges. 24, 23, 22, 21. Can't get this done on the floor? You can do this sitting on the floor. Put your feet on the floor and do some sit to stands. If you're tired and you don't like any of these new moves, they're too tough, go back to the static back. Go back to something easy that I showed you. Ooh. I lost count. So what are we going to do? 100? Okay, 100 sounds good. What? Someone said we're at 10? Okay, we're at 10. And we got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it to hands and knees, everybody. We're going to do cats and dogs. If you can't do hands and knees, again, you could do this sitting in a chair. All we're doing is arching the back and forth. Arch and around. Tie the shoulders back into the hips. Loading the shoulders, important. Maybe next week we'll do some push-ups and planks. One more move we're going to do against the wall. We're going to do air bench. In the past, for those of you who are from Synergy, I know you're out there, we used to do handstand against the wall. We're going to hold there for just 1 minute, everybody. So air bench looks like this. Our last move of the day, going to put your back against the wall or against a door. You're going to walk your feet out until your feet are past your knees. I don't want them at 90 degrees. I want them past your knees. And you're going to push your lower back into the wall using your legs. You're going to hold there for 1 minute. Make sure your knees do not drift in, and make sure your knees do not drift out. You want to keep your feet, knees, hip width. So my lower back is flattened against the wall, and I'm pushing into the wall using my legs. Imagine my hand was right at the small of your back, and I wanted you to smash it, smash my hand, push into the wall. This is a strong move. What we're doing is we're vertically loading the body, so I'm prepping you for the day. The other thing is I'm making sure all that rotation that might be in there, I'm really getting it out, trapping you on the wall. So we're keeping a nice bilateral stimulus. Walk you out of here balanced. 20 seconds. Hope you guys feel this in your thighs. 10 seconds. Do not force your head against the wall. If the head's not touching the wall, don't worry about it. This is about pelvis. 3, 2, 1, and done. That's it for today. Thank you for sweating and aligning with me. I hope you'll meet me here again next week, only at the Levittown Library. Have a great day.